call in Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers to take out these sand ninja, because they can use camouflage just like the friggin' Predator. This week's episode of Naruto Shippuden was a mixed bag of weirdness. There were sand lions, there were watery mantis arms, and there was an awkward close-up shot of Sakura's butt. But this week's episode was made for the Ino fans, all 5 of you out there. I kid because I love. I think Ino is a great character, and I'm glad that she got another episode devoted to her because she is one of the more underused characters of the series. But this episode was real simple. It was basically divided into 2 things going on. It was Sakura and their team fighting against the Sand Ninja, and then we had flashbacks of Ino training. All the flashbacks really aren't all that exciting. Basically, it's just her learning to use the transmission jutsu, and the fact that she basically abandoned her father's teachings to go on to Tsunade and try to become a medical ninja. However, this actually didn't end up biting her in the ass. This actually ended up helping her out because she's able to use her transmission jutsu and her sensory abilities in battle, which come into play here. And that brings us to the Sand Ninja, who are really awesome this week. They all have some really crazy abilities. Let's just talk about all of them. First is that one weird sickly looking guy. He's able to basically make them all camouflage and make it so you can't see them, and he can also summon these weird sand lions. This is actually very similar to the ability that Sai uses, except that he actually draws his lions. They basically have the same design, but they don't really do much aside from just knock you over and stand on top of you looking goofy. You then have that one fine-looking medical ninja who has these really crazy abilities that revolve around water. You have this one where she's able to transform her arms into these weird, watery mantis claws, which look really cool in battle, but don't really do too much. But I like the creativity. I also love how she has these weird healing jellyfish, which attach to your chest and will slowly heal you. They all seem to be based around water, and I think that's really cool. And then we have that one Leon Kennedy-looking guy who can actually transform his hands into these weird weapons like hammers and stuff. Really simple stuff. Basically, it's just him and Choji punching the crap out of each other through most of the episode. Really, though, it's Ino who ends up saving the day. She's able to fully communicate with her team and allow them to retaliate back and basically just wipe the floor with them. I'm actually surprised they didn't put more pain into their attacks because they really had it out for these guys. They really needed to get some water. It was a matter of life and death. But again, this episode is here to demonstrate how far the ninja world has come at this point in Naruto, and how really a lot of these ninja are just looking for peace, because at the end of the episode, they all just end up hanging out at the oasis, healing each other, and pretending that they will run into each other again as they go off in opposite directions for the next episode of the Chunin exam. The episode does end with a little bit of dread, as Sakura seems really upset about something, and if you look at the preview for the next episode, it looks like it's going to involve some sort of puppet user. I don't know if this is sort of some like weird tease to Sasori, or maybe this is like her first big encounter with a puppet user, but it looks like the episode is going to have some pretty decent animation. And as if getting the Chunin exam isn't enough, we're actually also going to get some flashback sequences where we got to see Sasuke hanging out with Karin and maybe even Suigetsu. Maybe that's what's going to be going on. Maybe that's when he actually meets him for the first time before he actually forms his team. I can't wait to see how that's going to happen. Otherwise, I know I'm pretty freaking excited. But what's the rundown on this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden? This one was pretty good, but it unfortunately just didn't have the best animation in the world. But it did have some surprisingly competent artwork in a lot of parts of the episode. But as Mrs. Gump said, this episode's kind of like a box of chocolates. You never really know what you're going to get. Throughout the episode, there really wasn't that much consistency in terms of how good the animation and the artwork was, but I really loved the creativity of the attacks that was used from the Sand Ninja, in particular the ones used by the Medical Ninja, because I just did not expect to see weird freaking watery mantis hands. That was really crazy, and it could have led to a really big action sequence, but there were some moments that did look really good in this week's episode. The only thing I had to complain about were basically just the flashbacks. They really didn't do much of anything for me. Basically just showing us that she sort of regretted the fact that she didn't get to train with her father enough, but still everything she learned from both of them actually really helped her out in battle. So that was pretty cool that Ino basically got to have her big final moment before the series is going to come to an end. I do think that's pretty cool. Next week's episode, though, I didn't see coming. I did not expect that we were going to get anything from Sasuke and any of their team whatsoever. You know, obviously, they got to build up more time before we get to the finale of the series, but still, every time I look at that brand new intro now, I just get even more excited before we get to the canon material. I'm glad to know that a lot of the big animators are going to be working on it, because that's definitely going to be one of the most action-packed, ridiculous parts of the series, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. But let's get back on track. This week's episode right here, it was okay. I was maybe expecting a little bit more from the preview, but it definitely had its moments. There were definitely some cool action scenes. There were a few moments, though, where the animation was just a little wonky and just didn't have a lot of impact behind it. But for the most part, this was still an exciting episode of Naruto Shippuden, and one of the better episodes of the Chunin exam arc, but still hampered by some wonky animation and artwork, but still something that Naruto fans should definitely check out, especially Ino fans. You'll definitely like it. And who knows? Next week's episode might be a big surprise. It looked like the animation looked really nice, so I can't wait to see what they're going to do with that. Otherwise, this week's episode is a 3 out of 5. Just a good, fun, average episode of Naruto Shippuden that Naruto fans, whether you like the manga or the anime, should definitely check out. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden. Who is your favorite ninja from the Sand Ninja group? What do you want to see from the rest of the Chunin exam? And what are you looking forward to seeing for the finale of the Naruto Shippuden anime series? Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, follow us on social media, and thank you guys again for watching. And as always, stay dandy, baby.